Hey everyone, welcome. Today, we're jumping into something really special. Jim Kwik's incredible book, Limitless. This is all about how to upgrade your brain, learn literally anything faster, and unlock a life without limits. So, let's just dive right in. You know, right from the get-go in the foreword, Dr. Mark Hyman just nails it. And this is a really important idea to grab onto. We're not talking about some magic genius pill. Nope. It's about a process, a set of tools that you can actually learn and use to completely change the way your brain works. So let's try looking at this from a different angle. The book wants you to ask yourself a huge question, one that can kind of shift everything. What if learning wasn't this chore you had to do, but it was actually your superpower? And this isn't just a cool idea. The book actually frames the whole thing like the classic hero's journey. And guess what? That means in this story, you are the superhero. This is all about your journey, your story, and unlocking the potential that's already inside you. Okay, so you might be thinking, sure, that's easy for people who are naturally smart. Well, hold on a second. Let me tell you about Jim Kwik's own origin story. After a brain injury as a kid, he struggled so much that a teacher actually pointed at him and said those words. Can you imagine? That label, the boy with the broken brain, became his reality for years. It's just such a powerful reminder, right? Where you start does not have to be where you end up. All right, so if we're the hero, every hero needs a villain to fight, right? Well, Kwik says there are 4 modern supervillains that are basically holding our brains hostage in today's world. Let's break them down. Okay, villain number 1, digital deluge. You know that feeling, like you're just drowning in information? It's the constant flood of emails, notifications, news, all of it. Our brains just aren't built to handle this constant fire hose of data, and it leaves us feeling totally overwhelmed. And of course, right alongside that villain is its partner in crime, digital distraction. Those little pings and pop-ups, they're not just annoying, they are literally shattering our ability to focus. Our tech is actually rewiring our brains to be distracted, pulling us away from what really matters. All right, this next one, this one is kind of scary. It's called digital dementia. I mean, seriously, think about it. How many phone numbers do you actually know by heart right now? Compare that to, say, 15 years ago. We've handed over our memory to our phones. Kwik makes a great point. Your memory is a muscle, and if you don't use it, well, you lose it. And that brings us to the last of the 4 supervillains, digital deduction. Basically, we're letting Google and social media do our thinking for us. Instead of wrestling with a problem, we just search for the answer. It's subtle, but it's really dangerous because it weakens our own ability to think for ourselves. So those are the bad guys on the outside, but what about the battles we fight on the inside? Kwik says we also have to face these 7 lies about learning. He calls them our internal dragons that we have to slay. And I love this part. Kwik does something so clever with the word lie. He turns it into an acronym. ALIE is a limited idea entertained. Boom! Just like that, it's not a fact anymore. It's just an idea you've decided to believe. And realizing that is so freeing. The book covers 7 in total, but let's just zoom in on 3 really common ones that trip a lot of us up. First up, the idea that your intelligence is fixed, like your shoe size. Total myth. Science has proven that our brains can literally change and grow. Next, the lie that making a mistake means you're a failure. Kwik puts it perfectly. There's no such thing as failure, only failure to learn from what happened. And the last one? Genius is born, not made. Yeah, right. That one lets us off the hook. But the truth is, genius comes from putting in the work. Okay, so we've met the villains, we've called out the lies. This is that moment in the movie where the hero finally gets their secret weapon. It's time to learn the system for fighting back. This is the Limitless Solution Framework. And the whole thing boils down to this really simple but super powerful model, the 3 M's. First, you've got mindset. This is the what you believe is possible. It's about kicking those lies to the curb. Then you've got motivation. This is your why. It's the reason, the purpose that gets you out of bed in the morning. And finally, you have methods. This is the how. These are the actual hands-on techniques for things like speed reading or improving your memory. You need all 3. They all work together. Okay, enough theory. Let's get practical. I want to give you some real, actionable steps you can start using like today to begin this transformation. Everything, and I mean everything, starts with mindset. So you've got 2 choices. On one side, there's the fixed mindset. That's the this is just how I am attitude, the one that runs away from challenges.
But on the other side, you have the growth mindset. That's the voice that says, I can learn and improve anything. It leans into challenges. Choosing that growth mindset, that's step one. It's the foundation for everything else because look, you've got to believe you can get better before you ever will. All right, ready for a killer method you can use right away? Kwik has this amazing acronym for learning called FASTER. We're going to look at the first 3 letters. First, F is for forget. When you're learning something new, you have to temporarily forget what you think you know. Empty your cup so you can actually fill it. Next, A is for act. Come on, learning isn't a spectator sport. You have to get involved. Take notes, ask questions, do something with what you're hearing. And finally, S is for state. This is so important. All learning depends on your emotional state. You learn way better when you're curious and fascinated. Why? Because information plus emotion equals a long-term memory.
And let's wrap this up with one final tool that puts you in the driver's seat. From now on, whenever you learn anything new, I want you to ask yourself these 3 simple but powerful questions. First, how can I use this? Second, why must I use this? And third, when will I use this? See, when you ask these questions, you stop being a passive consumer of information and you start turning knowledge into action. So, the only real question left is what will you decide to become limitless in next?